Thank you, everybody. This is another wonderful, exciting evening we're going to be having for Infinite Wisdom. And our guest tonight is Dr. Nima Farshid. And I am really, really looking forward to this conversation. I'm very, uh, a sideline of mine for my entire life has been about health and wellness. And I've tried lots. I had a mother who was very open-minded about such things and got us into organic food when I was in high school and all of that. And I mean, and became a healer herself. So that I followed that path. So, new uh, cutting edge techniques are really fascinating to me. And I know you will share that. But before we get going, and I write about you in my emails so that people have a sense of who you are before we start. But we like to go ahead and go to the way, way back and find out where you come from, Nima, and what was your young life like? I like to know about your family, and I love to know about the neighborhood and the things that were interesting to you as a kid.
Of course. So it's yeah, a funny story to go back. When I was my parents used to live in the States, and my dad used to go to the University of Maryland, and this was during the Shah's regime in Iran, which we're all experiencing and hearing a lot of news about it. And they went to Iran for vacation, and they were staying there for a while. And I was born in Iran, and then they came back to the States. So we lived in Maryland when I was a child, and then we moved to California. We lived in Orange County. And then they decided to go back, and that's when the regime changed, and we got stuck. So I spent 14 years living in Iran, and it was a blessing to grow up in the understanding of the healing and being raised around dervishes and people that had a completely different view of healing, and that's what really gave me my background and always pursuing to see how we can. Reach those levels. Like, when I was a child, I remember when somebody was sick, there was a group of spiritual people, of dervishes and shamans that they would pray into water, and the person would drink the water, and that would bring healing to them.
Yeah.
And that was always so fascinating to me that, how's that possible? Like, how does that work?
Now,
And
what age were you at? What was you were there 14 years, you said.
yeah,
Um,
so I was there since I was 3 years old when we went back to Iran. And then from 3 to 14, I was in Iran. And there was a law that after 14 years of age, you can't leave the country. You have to serve the military. And that was when the Iran and Iraq war was happening. And I just couldn't imagine going to war and getting a gun and shooting somebody. So this is always like a fear for me. So I would always talk to my father, and I would tell him about it, that I don't want to go to war. I don't want to be in this environment. And he was always a big supporter of me. And ever since I was a child, I was very open. So I would communicate, and I was a crystal child. And they during all these meetings that they had, they would always like take me, and they would they hold me on their hands, and they would pray. And then they would say that when Nima grows up, he's going to do something big for humanity, and he's going to really help bring a lot of light into humanity.
so you were recognized as something a little different.
Yes, ever since I was a child, this is something that they would see in me. But I I just my only thought when I was a kid is how do I reach purity? How do I become a person that like I would hear about these stories of these people that would become so pure that when they would walk like in a street, that there was like smell of roses that would follow them just because of that vibration that they had. So my goal as a child was always how can I get to that level? How can I be so pure that I could have that kind of a like a aura or vibration that I could leave that kind of residual into my environment.
Well, this is really fascinating because it sounds to me like you came in already wired to your spiritual development.
Very much so, yes. And there was a lot of teachers throughout my life that, when I was in Iran, I was being really supported by dervishes, and they would, teach me about spirituality, about, how we're not just a physical body, and there's so much more into our reality.
So I have a question about the dervishes. Would you compare how would you compare them to other cultures? You said shaman. So could we compare them to a Peruvian shaman, to a Native American elder healer type? Like how? And so, because that's much more of the land and of the earth, the herbs of the earth, the oils of the earth, that sort of thing.
So dervishes are, in the religion of Islam, there's two sides. There's the hardcore, regime Islamists that we're experiencing today, and the way that, they're bringing so much negativity. But then at the same time, there's a whole side of spirit of Islamic spiritualism, which are dervishes, that they believe in peace, they believe in bringing, light and goodness to humanity, and they are kind of like people that, they sit kind of like monks, that they sit in, in empty spaces and quiet places, and they just meditate. And they bring these energy and, healing vibrations based on their intention to their surroundings.
Beautiful. I wish we heard more about that.
Yeah. So, the works of, when you read all the Rumi poems, a Rumi
Yes.
was a dervish. So
Oh, okay. So kind of
it's
like a priest, kind of like a um a spiritual leader, but the real thing.
exactly, yes.
And then you mentioned the shaman, the healers. Were they also the healers? Or
Yes.
is
So
that
that
a
was a
separate
big
group?
part of that the spiritualism was that, there is a higher frequency, there is a higher self that every single person is connected to. And by reaching that higher self and by focusing on a higher vibration, then the lower vibrations and frequencies will disappear on their own. So that's kind of their teaching of
Yeah.
focusing on positivity and lights. And, they say that just by doing that, the lower vibration automatically will dissipate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's got to because there's a lack of resonance otherwise. It has to be. Okay, so wow. Okay, so you were a special child. You were recognized to be such, and that you had a spiritual light, and so I love this that you were supported in this because here that's not usually the case. You're the weird kid stuck out on the playground by yourself.
And
Um,
that was my case, actually. Like when I would go to school, I would tell like my classmates that I can communicate with angels. And, I'll tell them like, they'll tell me about their homes or how their parents were sometimes like mean to them. And like I would, give them some like guidance of what my angels would tell me. And they would go home and tell their parents and be like, we don't want you to talk to that guy anymore. Like, he's like,
really?
you should be obedient to us and do what we tell you. So I had that, upbringing, and I was always like the kid that I wouldn't, take let any of like the bullies in the class to want to like overpower like any of the weak guys in the class. So it was always a mission of kind of like giving power to the people that don't have power, and to be able to, bring their lights and allow them to shine. So that was always kind of my DNA of helping people that need help, and to kind of like create that the yin and yang, and make
Yeah.
that balance.
That's beautiful, and I relate to that. I was always the one breaking up the fights on the playground. And don't you bully that person, and don't you call them names. Anyway, okay, so you get to this 14, and you either have to join military. What did you do? How did you leave the
So
country?
that's pretty much when my journey started. It was my birthday when my father came home, and he was like, "Nima, grab your bags. I'm taking you outside of the country." So I'm like,
Were
"Okay."
you
So
allowed to do that?
that was it was a risk that we're taking. He came home. He told me to get my stuff, put it in the backpack, without even saying bye to any of my friends or family. We drove to the border, and they were giving us a lot of hard time that they wouldn't let me leave, because it was on my birthday, and we had had like two different forms of identification in order for them to let us cross. And it just happened that my father had two different forms of identification for me. So then we were allowed to cross the border and go to Turkey.
Uh-huh. And then what happened?
So in Turkey, I was there for a few months. I was supposed to, there was a gentleman that was supposed to help me to go to Canada. And I went to Turkey, and after a few months, I went to Bulgaria from there, and to meet with this gentleman because I couldn't get an American visa. They wouldn't give me a visa to come to the States. So then my plan was, okay, somehow to go to Canada, and then eventually from Canada to apply to come to the US because my brother was born in the States while my parents were here. So he was an American citizen, and he could freely come back and forth, but they wouldn't give me permission to come to the States.
Wait a minute. So
So,
you're 14, going to this country and that country. You don't speak the language. You're all by yourself.
so yes, I was with my father at the time. And my father, of course, after a little bit, I was supposed to be in Bulgaria for 2 weeks and fly from there to go to Canada. But then the people that were supposed to, do this transit for me, they ended up being a part of the Persian mafia. And there was a shootout with the Bulgarian police, and they killed them while I was living in their home. So then I got stranded in, a person's house that I had no idea like what was their operations there, and I didn't speak any a word of English. So then,
Or German. Did you speak German?
no, it was in Bulgaria, so they speak
Oh,
Slavic.
Slavic, right.
Yeah. So then my father was there for a little bit, and then he couldn't really support me, so he had to go back to work in Iran. In order to be able to support me. So then I stayed there, and my mom and my sister came at a point to be able to kind of like stay with me while I was going through this transit. So I ended up being there for 4 years
In Bulgaria.
in Bulgaria, right after communism. So they were just in a transit from communism to
Right.
I mean, the whole mafia just like ran the country, and it was pretty dangerous times, to be there.
Did you go to school? What did you do? Because you were still a teenager.
Yeah, so we found an American high school there, and they were a Christian school. So I started to go to an American, high school, and I started to go to church. And there was a lot of missionaries in Bulgaria at the time. So I was living with missionaries for a few years.
Hey, what on earth? How was that experience? Here you'd come from this, this Islam, very spiritual, high vibrational thing. Now you're in a Catholic, right? You said Christian.
They were Catholics.
Okay. So
So I
you're
was
in
going to
that,
Catholic
you're
school.
in a church. How did you experience that? What was it like?
So it was so empowering. I got to learn about Jesus Christ, and I fell in love with Jesus and understandings of Christianity. And it completely gave me a different perspective on life because, being raised in an Islamic country and then coming and, seeing all these amazing people that were Christians and then going to Bible study and really learn about love. And that's what, was really empowering for me to, that's why I fell in love with Jesus because of, I saw that, everybody that I was living, there was so much love and they were giving me so much of that vibration that just really amplified my experience there.
This is an incredible story. Have you written this in a book?
No, actually, I've never actually really spoken about this. This is the first time somebody's asking me to go that far back.
No, you know why? Because I'm interested in how when we look back on our lives, we can see the breadcrumbs that have led us to where we are. But when we're going through it, we don't necessarily see it. But I
Absolutely.
love looking back and saying, well, if that hadn't happened, then I wouldn't have done, and this wouldn't have happened, and I wouldn't have opened up to that, and I wouldn't have learned, et cetera, et cetera. All these crooked paths, lead us to exactly where we're supposed to be. And so
Absolutely.
I think all these backstories are integral to understanding the human who's sitting in front of us today in the form of you. And how you came to be passionate about healing and all the ways that you do that. So, okay, so we've got you in Bulgaria. You went to American school, 4 years, you learn English, and then what happens? This is like a spy novel, I tell you. So good.
So while I was there, we didn't have money. So, it was just like we didn't have TVs to want to like watch any entertainment or anything like that. So my fun and my entertainment was to go to bed early and meditate. and just kind of like go into my own mind and travel and really, create my own movies. And really just that was my joy of having that time with myself.
Well,
So
that
one time I started to envision myself
mhm.
in the future. And I wanted to see like who's Nima in a different reality, or maybe like, I don't know, 30 years from now, 20 years from now. And what I saw was me right now in the house that I live, the pet that I have with my wife.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You had no idea how you were gonna get there, but you had that vision. That's amazing.
And it felt so real.
Oh,
So then it wasn't, maybe it was a week or two that I received a letter from a congressman in the US that they have studied my case, and they gave me a humanitarian letter, a case to cross all the borders and to come to become a US citizen.
wow. And had you applied as to university, or you were just trying to get into the country just to live?
So, all the missionaries, like all the people in church that were there, they had their connections and they were communicating about my case.
I
I
see.
got into a pretty bad accident in Bulgaria. I'm like, pretty much, shattered my jaw. And there was a lot of like hate for people that have, brown skin. So then we're always, getting jumped on by skinheads. And it was just like a very, very horrible, horrible situation. I call it my 4 years of purgatory.
Sounds like it. Oh my gosh. You really well, I'll wait for that comment because, well, no, it seems to me that finding the way to turn the other cheek, um, you were given a lot of opportunities for that, you know.
Yes. And that, it was, I wouldn't, exchange that experience for anything in the world, because it made me the person that I am today.
Yeah.
And it made a resilient person out of me that no matter what, I always saw that love is the only vibration that wins. And with love, you can break down anything or anyone.
Yeah. So beautiful, Nima. Okay. So you get to the US, you go to your brother. Is that
So
right?
yes, I came to the US. I was 18 years old when I came to the US. And I started to, went to high school here. And I had a job. My parents had a medical spa, and I was
Wait, they had
operating.
they had I'm sorry, they had left Iran and gotten to the US?
Yes, at the time, my parents had moved to the States because they could go back and forth, and they had opened up a business. So that when I came here, then they were, they had their own business, and I was kind of like trying to help them in the business.
And
So
this was in Maryland? Is that what you said?
this was in Florida. So I moved to Florida because my brother had moved from Maryland now
Okay.
to Sanford, Florida.
Okay.
And so that's why I moved to Florida to kind of like get the whole family to reunite.
Wow. Well, what that must have been amazing. To all come back
Oh
together.
yeah, I mean I didn't see my brother for 10 years, so seeing
Oh,
him,
oh my gosh, your parents must have been so happy.
it was a beautiful experience to come together, and that was just the biggest blessing of having the family together.
Oh my goodness. And is it so you have a sister, you have a brother, is that it?
I have a younger sister and an older brother, so I'm the
You're
middle child that became the older brother.
right. Okay, so you get to Florida and you go to university. Now, when did becoming a medic? I mean, you're a doctor. How did that all come in?
So my purpose, like throughout throughout my life, my father always had heart problems. My grandpa passed away at age 41 from a heart attack. And my father had to put a pacemaker at age 31. And this was always like, I was always worried that I'm going to lose my dad. And, I was always like, okay, how do I like become maybe a doctor? I wanted to become a heart surgeon
Hmm.
to see how I could remove this curse from my family, because it was like all my cousins, everybody on my dad's side of family, they had heart issues.
Male and
So
female?
mostly males, but yes, some females as well. So then I always had this, this like mission to become a doctor. And I came here when I was at 18 years old. I got accepted in a gifted program. I went to, after college, when I was going to high school, I got accepted to a gifted programs in university. and I was taking AP classes, and they accepted me to a gifted program. I was a very smart child. Like I was in math and physics and science. Like I was always in my class number one. So to the point, like my teachers would, solve the problem, and then I would get up and I would solve it in a different way. So they always were very amazed with my understanding about mathematics.
I love it when you stump the teachers. That's great.
Yeah, it was always fun. So I was always like a professor's pet, and I was always like the
Uh-huh.
guy that I would pass up the test in the class and like grade the scores and everything. So I went to I got accepted to a program to University of Florida to do research on cloning the bacteria.
Hmm.
And I went there for 3 months during the summertime, and I successfully completed cloning the bacteria at age 19.
Oh my
And
goodness.
they gave me a lot of letters of recommendation to the different medical schools. So I started my pre-med program of studying medicine.
And then you went all the way through. Did you specialize in something? What did you choose?
So I had as I mentioned, like having that understanding of like how people would heal. When I was going through my pre-med program, like it was always about drug interactions and memorizing different Latin words. And it was just to a point I was like, it wasn't really resonating with me. Like I wanted to really learn how to heal, not just like, put a band-aid on something. So I became really fascinated with technology. And my father was a software engineer. And, I always kind of like looked up to my dad because I always thought, he was always a very pure person. He was always very like, very love oriented. So I went and became a software engineer.
So you left pre-med, you went to become a software engineer. And didn't you say they opened up a wellness center of some sort?
So yes, while I'm doing my studies, my parents, that was a family business. So then I would come and I would help them whenever I was in town, or on the weekends I would travel back. And when I was there, I met a person one of these days that I was at the front desk. There's this woman that was so angelic that walked in, and she was this tall, beautiful, like piercing blue eyes, and she walked to the front desk and started just directly staring into my eyes, kind of like you, how you're looking. And she was like, Nima, you have a lot of questions. I have the answers for you. Would you like to ask me? I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? So she's like, I have a school of spirituality, and I teach spirituality on Sundays. Do you want to come to my house, and I can kind of like answer some of these questions that you have? And ever since I was a child, I told you I could communicate, but then I could never understand. Am I really communicating with the right, channel, or am I just open and just reciting a bunch of different things?
Right.
So I always wanted to really like fine tune that to see like how can I maintain my connection to source, and always have that connection without it kind of being going, in and out. And that's where it all started. She was an advisor for the White House, that she would work with presidents. And she was a fighter jet pilot, and very, very high level person. So then she started to work with me and teaching me about chakras. So we sat there like on Sundays, and she would have different students that would come, and we'd sit there and we'd just stare into each other's eyes, and we'd communicate with each other telepathically.
Yes,
And
keep going. This is great.
and what she would tell us was that we're like a radio station, that if we want to, if you're all on the same channel, then we don't really need to talk. As long as we think, then we're on the same channel, then we can communicate.
Right.
So that became my a few years of practice
Okay.
of sitting there, and she would teach me how to go inward, and how to work on my understand and visualize my chakras, and how to open up these portals. And she would teach me how to travel through these portals into different dimensions.
Yeah. Interesting.
So then we sit there, sometimes we would jump from galaxy to galaxy.
Wow.
And I got to experience a lot of different realities. I got to experience different existence that was non-solid. that everything was transparent.
Oh, cool.
And that's when people wouldn't communicate. They wouldn't talk. They would telepathically communicate.
Mhm. Well, that's
So then, yeah, so then all of these, they just expanded my mind to like, different possibilities of, what is really possible here. And, like how really powerful we are as beings. And by really mastering our own system, we are truly limitless.
well,
So having this understanding, I started to, I graduated from college and I started my own company and it became a very successful company. Like I was in my 20s at the time and it was a multi-million-dollar company that I was, generating great income. And, it was just like, okay, why do I go back to school again? So that kind of like went into my path.
was that company a software engineer type product company?
Yes, yes. I started an internet marketing company
Mhm.
that I would create websites at the time. Like, I was like, when eBay and Amazon were coming up.
Mhm.
And like I was creating distribution centers around the world
Mhm.
because, traveling the world, I had an understanding that everybody wants American-made products. So then I started to create warehouses in different parts of the world before Amazon FBA. And I would put products and I would globally distribute American beauty products.
Incredible, incredible. Wow. Okay, so then you went back to school for
So that grew to be a huge company and it started to become very stressful for me. So, I started to get severe heart palpitations. And I just went to my regular doctor and I wanted to understand what's going on with me. So he hooked me up to an EKG machine and he said that I had abnormal EKG. And he said that I have to go to a cardiologist like right away the same day.
oh my
So
gosh.
from his office, I go to a cardiologist, they shoot me with dyes and I'm running on a treadmill. They're like, doing a stress test on me. And they come and tell me that I have to put a pacemaker.
How old were you?
I was 33 at the time.
So like your dad. Not.
Yeah, it's like that 30 mark is like exactly
Mhm.
when that hits. So, but it was really interesting because when I was running on this treadmill and having, there's a nurse and that was kind of like, writing my vitals and having a conversation with me. So then this nurse comes and she tells me, she's like, asking me, she's like, how old are you? And she, she's like writing everything down. And she comes and tells me that, did you know that Jesus was 33 when he started having revelations? And she tells me this, and with my upbringing and like everything that I had in my mind and my mission in life to be a heart surgeon, then I'm just like, oh my God, like, is this a wake up call? Is this life kind of like trying to push me back into what I really wanted to put my mind into and
Mhm.
like really use my gifts to help humanity? But
Interesting.
then I kind of went sidetracked, I was making great money and, having money as a measurement of success that we're used to in the US. I feel like that really like clouded my path.
Mhm.
And when this happened, I realized that just this is source, this is universe putting me back into my true mission in life and how to really work with light and bring a lot of goodness into humanity instead of focusing making a dollar into two.
So you went back to medical or what'd you do when you went back?
So I realized at the point that it doesn't matter how many zeros I have in front of my bank account. If I'm going to be out of here in 2 weeks, then like what do I really get to take with me? And that became a big kind of like a change of perception in my life. That if I am going through all this heartache and what is it actually that we get to take? And at that moment, again, the love came back into my life. That if we are to depart today, then the only thing that we get to take with us is the memories. There's the deeds that we have done. It's the love that we have shared and the love that we have received. So at that point, I realized that love is the only currency that we get to take with us
And leave behind, you know.
and leave behind. So then I realized that I didn't want to really go back to my work. I just like, it was just like such a big shift that I called my employee, had a conversation with them, and I, told them that this is like a life or death situation for me. I just want to, focus on myself. So I shut down my company and I started traveling the world. And I would go to all different types of conferences and, meet with top level shamans, healers, doctors, just to understand what is healing. Like, how do we really, truly heal somebody rather than just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
And I learned so much. They were giving me all this powerful information about like Reiki, about sound healing, about vibration healing, tuning forks, right frequencies, magnetic tip therapies, like you name it. And I was trying it. I wanted to do anything that was non-invasive, that I could work with myself naturally before I went and did something so invasive.
this is before you got the pacemaker?
So that's when they told me they want to give me pacemaker, but I refused.
Oh, you refused. Instead, you quit your company and went traveling.
Yeah, I wanted to see. I talked to
That
the
was
doctors. I got a couple of different second opinions, and some people would tell me that this is going to be really dangerous. Like, we gotta really, follow your dad's footsteps and get a pacemaker. And they're like, he just lived all his life without an issue. So why do you have anything against it? And I was at the time, like, all my life I tried to be very active because I thought that I'm super active, then I'm going to have a very healthy cardiovascular system. So I was a semi-professional soccer player and a semi-professional wakeboarder at the time when I was diagnosed with this.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So it really wasn't about fitness. It was a
Exactly.
congenital, you had a congenital problem.
Exactly. So then that became my mission. And, traveling the world, I ended up, having that scientific background and having a scientific mind, being a software engineer and really, having to, have numbers and graphs to be able to like prove to me and show me things. So I wanted to find a technology that was helping me. That if I'm sitting there doing meditation and I'm doing all this work, like how's it actually affecting my energetic system? So then, in my travels, I found some technologies in Russia and in Germany that they were showing me of how to exactly monitor my energy. So I started bringing some of these devices to the US and just started, working on myself, making myself as my own test subject.
So these are technology machines of some sort that
Yes.
were working with your field energetically, magnetically, how?
Energetically. So there was a technology in Russia that was based on Kirlian photography.
Uh-huh.
So that we can take we take pictures of the tip of our fingers, and then that would show like how energy is moving through our body.
Okay.
But that was more like on the emotional body and like on the the biofield, on the outer layer of our holistic health field.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started on working with these systems, and I found a different device in Germany that was based on our reflexology points that would measure our energy through 49 different points on the palm of our hands.
Uh-huh.
So then they will give me this amazing information, like live real-time information of like if I'm sitting there doing meditation, doing breath work, and then I could see a baseline. And then I would after like I would go through my process and I could rescan myself and then see, if I'm actually doing something right, or is it am I really hitting it, the right way? Because I was practicing ever since I was 18. But and I would have all these amazing feelings. Like I'll have all these like vibrations that will come through my body, and I'll have this, sometimes this out of body experience. But I just wanted to scientifically measure and be able to communicate with others so that they're like they don't think this is all like woo woo, and I'm just
I get you. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
yeah. So I wanted to find a way that I could talk to my friends and my family because they're always they were thinking that I'm going just nuts, talking about all this like energy and how by measuring our energy we can actually like start working on ourselves. And I was seeing the difference. So instead of getting palpitations maybe once a week, it was now like once a month.
Ah,
So then I was like, okay, something is working here. I just want to understand, like really pinpoint it. And if I'm doing something that I'm seeing is working, then I wanted to continue doing that. And if something wasn't really, benefiting me, then I just didn't want to waste my time.
right.
So after 6 months of doing this, waking up in the morning, scanning myself, waiting until I have a palpitation, I would scan myself again, and then I would just compare this information. I started to see a lot of patterns that wasn't really related to my cardiovascular system.
Mm.
So then by focusing on my body as a whole, then it was around 6 months of just, practicing this, something like I was just having fun with it. I know I'll get up in the morning and I was very like social about it. And I get on like Instagram, like, hey guys, like, I'm going to scan myself and see where my chakras are. And then I'm going to use some oils, some crystals to see how we can balance myself. So then this came to a point that I would maintain myself at over 95% chakra balance on a daily basis.
Wow.
And that became like a magical experience. Like I call it the experience of a heaven on earth. That when we can maintain that chakra balance over 95%, then it's like you are living your highest frequency and you're directly connected to your higher self.
Sounds like you would have had the scent of roses around you.
I have had interactions actually of different times, and when I'm going deep meditations, that I've had actually people telling me that there's light that actually starts to emit from my body, and there's a lot of magical experiences that's happened to me that
Beautiful.
has really given me that faith that there is so much more than what our eyes can see.
That's so true. So true. So at what point did you decide, well, I want to be a practitioner of all this? And how did you get trained?
So after I went through this, within 6 months of doing this work, I was in like a conversation like today, and they asked me, they're like, "Well, Nemo, like, when was the last time you had a palpitation?" And it just like got me. I started thinking, I'm like, I don't even remember the last time I had a palpitation. And now it's, about 13 years later from that point that, I was able to heal my symptoms without doing any surgery, without taking any
Wow.
medication, and just focusing on my thoughts, emotions, my energy, and being able to create this environment of healing within my own system. Then, our systems are so powerful. We
Yes.
just got to create that environment, and our bodies will have the power to heal themselves.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And what step did you take to become a practitioner and a doctor?
So then, after I went through this journey, it was so empowering for me. I wanted to understand exactly in detail now what happened. Like, how was I able to get rid of this? I mean, I know I worked on my different systems, but there was a lot of work that I did emotionally, to kind of like having that upbringing and really getting stuck in Bulgaria and having to deal with all those situations. It had really put a lot of baggage on my heart, and it was kind of like starting to cloud my perception on life.
Yeah.
So then I realized that this is not doing me justice. I need to forgive, and I need to let go, because if I don't, then it's truly going to destroy me. So that was my aha moment, that I'm a different person now, and I shouldn't be holding on to my previous experiences. We are a product of our experiences, and everything that happens, it happens for a reason to get us to the point that we are today. So once I understood that, then I feel like that was a lot of my healing journey, to
Yeah.
really respecting my journey, and giving myself the love and the support that I needed to bravo, like you went through it and you came out the other side through the lights. And a lot of people, become very negative, and with those kind of interactions, and they kind of like lose their path. So I was very blessed to have guides, have teachers, and angels around me to guide me, and to continually working on my mindset to keeping me positive, and to be able to really look at the positive outlook on life, instead of taking my previous experiences and digging a hole mentally for myself that's going to destroy me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. What a transformation and what a journey. And that really is the key, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's what I recommend to everybody. I always say, die before dying.
Yeah.
Because if you can truly understand that how gifted we are with every minute that we have here,
Yeah.
and with the love and interactions and everybody that's around us, then it's such a beautiful reality. We're just allowing our, old perceptions and, different things that happen to us that conditions us the wrong way, to block us from seeing that. And that's why a lot of people, right before they die, they have this the eye-opening experience of, oh my God, like what a gift I had here.
Yes.
And, with my thoughts and with my emotions, I blocked myself from experiencing it.
Yes. Yes. So true. So true. Okay. Well, what happened next? This is, this is a
So then I went back to
story.
school, and I became an integrative a medicine doctor. And I pursued my PhD in quantum physics, because I really wanted to understand, how does these, for example, praying into water and then having somebody drink it, like what is the science behind that? Like, how does that actually work? And that's what I exactly studied. And I mastered working with frequency, with vibrations, with sound, and with electromagnetic fields to be able to correct the biofield.
Okay. Just the combination of integrative medicine and quantum physics. I just love that you have gone deeply into both those things and they're married in you. And they must be married in you and how you approach your patients. Because, oftentimes we have one without the other. And
Absolutely.
the quantum piece of it is not deeply studied. It's kind of understood. And I fall into that camp. I have a sense of it. I dwell in it. I get it. If I had to get and I get some science of it, but if I'm not deep in the sense of learned. I just know. But to have you have both things operating is absolutely fantastic. So what are you doing now? I mean, how does this all work in your practice?
So after using these different technologies and through my own journey, the companies that were like seeing me on social media, they invited me to join their team and become a global educator for their company of teaching other doctors, other practitioners of exactly what I did. So then this gave birth to an online community that I created called Gaia Healers, Gaia meaning Mother Earth. And my idea was to create a system. This is kind of like the company behind me. Create a system that we could create healers for our Mother Earth. And that's, just based on my travels throughout the world and really like seeing like how much pain is around the different areas in the world, how much like disrespect to Gaia, to Mother Earth, and how there's, really no guidelines of how do we treat our mother. And,
Right.
we have guidelines and rules of how we treat each other, but there's really no protection and no like laws of protecting the environment. And, that's why it really became kind of like empowered to move forward of a community of people that would focus on 3 different departments. It would be people using these bioenergy technologies to be able to raise consciousness of humanity and, educate people scientifically in ways that they can kind of like let go of that doubt and to move forward with faith. And we started a different department for our water bodies. So, throughout my research, I learned so much about water and how powerful water is and how we can, work with water, the science of, the dervishes. Now we have replicated that for farms, for working with farm animals, with, produce, and we're able to increase the produce of a farm almost like 3 times by using structuring systems and adding vibrations to water. And we're reducing like over 99% of the bacteria that, have a lot of farms have to deal with using these methods. And, that's a lot of work that we do for our lakes and our ponds and our, different water bodies to be able to use like magnetic fields in order to restructure water and help, different bodies. So then we're creating pretty much scientists, citizen scientists that would have a good amount of education and knowledge to be able to measure like different water bodies or people's water in their houses, and then being able to actually change it without filtering the water, but with just adding the information to it. And we also created a department for helping the environment, because there's a lot of 5G and there's a lot of EMF right now that's it's really affecting us negatively.
Yeah.
And we have technologies now that we can measure the energy of the environment and then see if there's a lot of chaos. And this could be even due to like entities. It could be due to the electromagnetic field of the earth, or a lot of different factors.
Yeah.
And then we use technologies that can nullify that using sound and frequency. So now we have thousands of practitioners in our network that we are a collective a group of high vibration healers, educators, scientists that we want to educate the masses and just share our knowledge with them. So we created our own nonprofit organization called Gaia Seekers, And that's where we educate anybody that's interested in learning more about what I do, about all the work that we've done over the last 10 years. I have over 10,000 cases now with working with people and helping them to really empower their lives and to get away from chemicals and toxins and really opening up themselves to a better way of living.
Wow. That is absolutely fantastic. I am so excited to hear about this. And I know people who listen to this interview will also be, because most of the people who are in my community are interested in those things too. Now, so you educate people, so anybody can come to a Gaia Seeker, join up and get educated. Do you have a clinic there? Are you in Florida still?
I am in Florida, so we have what we call healing homes. So we have our nonprofit is we have different like healing homes that we're turning into wellness centers, and we're open to public on Sundays. That we go to a lot of spiritual churches, and we invite people to come and to benefit from all the research and work that we've done. So that's what we're doing locally, and now we're in the process of having other people, like your amazing listeners, or anybody that's interested in moving this forward. Then we educate them, we provide them with technology, with support, and now we're setting up different healing homes throughout the United States.
Wow, fantastic. May I ask where in Florida you are?
I'm myself in Orlando, Florida, but I travel all the time, so I'm everywhere. I'm in California, I'm Texas, and Carolinas. We do a lot of events, and we have a lot of different like consciousness events that I work with. So then we take our team, our practitioners, and then we host the Gaia Healers events in different cities.
Mhm. Wow, this is really amazing. Just amazing. I love everything you've been talking about. It's right up my alley. And I think a lot of people who are listening as well. I want to make sure that we leave time for people to ask questions, but um, I just have to commend you for this journey that you have been on since a very young child, and how you've consolidated it and really made something that's feels beyond most people. It feels beyond, but you've made it accessible. You are making it accessible. And this is the time we're in, right? This is the time to break through all those barriers that we think are there or maybe really there. And but mainly in our minds, right? And of what's possible. And you probably don't know much about me, but 15 years ago, I had a series of visions, and the third vision was of this. This is the best version of it that I can. It's a figure eight of flowing water, and it's a technology. It's an energy technology, 10th dimensional, and it has 1,001 uses, but one of them is to make a conversation or any kind of communication, A, could be nonverbal, but B, to get us in resonance quickly like that. And
Love
and
it.
it came in to prepare us to it in that watery flow. And boy, I know a lot about water as a result of this. I took a deep dive into water 15 years ago and came to understand it. This is a consciousness, and we've been staring at it in the face our whole lives, but not understanding really what it is. And but inherent in that, this is a symbol, obviously, in the symbol, in the watery flow, is that 10th dimensional love and compassion. So now when I wave with you, it's called the infinity wave. And when I wave with you or with anybody, now our conversation is going to come up to, right? It's going to not stay in 3D. It's going
That's right.
he's going to go up somewhere. And
Absolutely.
it's a wonderful tool, energy tool for just about anything. And it's one of those things where even in my own mind, when I didn't know what it was, and I was told to teach about it, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and so that's a whole story, and I won't go into it now. But the point is that I had to get through the barriers in my own mind about what was possible. Is it possible imagining a figure eight of flowing water is gonna, and then it was proving out, it was proving out. I'd love to, I've always wanted to get to some kind of machinery, some kind of measurement tool so that I can do it with dowsing. I can prove if like I do it, this, some of the people who've been with me in person, we put somebody at the other end of the room who doesn't even know what the infinity wave is. And the rest of us are on this side and we just 30 seconds, we send the wave just quietly, just imagining. And I measure them before and after. I measure how big their field is with my dowsing rods. And usually it's, 5, 6 feet, something like that. After we send the wave to them for 30 seconds, it triples.
Wow.
It triples, guaranteed. It's happened so many times. So I know it works, but I want some kind of measurement device.
I can definitely help you with that.
So, anyway, I absolutely love what you're doing. I encourage everybody who's listening to this or watching this, now or in the future to please look this up and become one of these Gaia seekers or whatever. And let's get in this rowboat together because it's all hands on deck at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a time of oneness, and we talk about quantum physics, and that's truly the physics of oneness.
Yes.
And this has come the time that we realize that we're all different versions of each other, and there's only one beautiful source energy that resides in every single one of us. And the more we can connect to that, and the more we can see each other as one, then it becomes a beautiful reality for everyone.
That's it. That's it. And that symbol of the infinity wave is a unity symbol. So let's take some questions. And I know Kathy has her little hand up here. So Kathy, come on, girl.
Hi, Kathy. How are you?
I'm good. Oh my gosh, but I wish I could articulate that to two of you. But as I listen to you, you were born with a gift of love. And as you spoke about your whole journey, I kept saying, it's all so simple. It's all so simple. All we have to do is keep a high vibration and then it will work. So when you work with your chakras, for instance, you're just trying to get the junk out of them and make them working properly. But I mean, you're just such a source of love vibration that it's just so magnetic that it just sounds so simple, right? But I want to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the Quest frequency machine?
I have, yes.
It's a frequency machine, and I've had some chronic illness, and heart kept coming up on this other test, and I paid no attention to it because I thought, just not getting enough nourishment, until the doctor said, I just lost just about all my physical ability. And so she ran the frequency test. I was not in the office, but she put my name and all that kind of information on the machine. And it came up with this huge heart crises. And it wasn't physical. It was emotionally, like you were speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's so interesting about frequency is that I didn't know that I was going to be able to go to Thanksgiving dinner. And I'd already told them I can't hardly get out of bed. So she did the frequency and they ran up what was needed and the emotions. And I was downstairs and I was having a hard time getting upstairs and downstairs these days. And I was going up, well, the description was it didn't feel like I had any flesh inside my body. It felt like I was just skin, but nothing inside. I was just that depleted. So I was walking up the stairs and I went, wow, what's happening here? And I got up, I said, I got to look at my iPad and see if she said, I just ran the frequency test on you and sent some frequency. She said, I don't know if you'll feel anything. Well, on the way up the stairs, I had a body all of a sudden. I mean, it was like, I'm getting the chills because it was like a miracle. But what I'm trying to say, and probably not saying it well, is it's all about the frequency. And when you give out that frequency of love, Hope does too. It's so magnetic. It seems like that's all we need, right?
That's it.
You don't need surgery. You don't, so I'm on frequency medicine pretty much. But I mean, it's so miraculous. But you were born with a gift. It wasn't just your journey. You had a purpose from the day you were born. I mean, I just felt it. So thank you. And I can't wait to get into your site. I mean,
I would love to have you guys. Yes, please join us. If you guys are practitioners, I would love for you guys to join our practitioner network. You can go to join.gaiahealers.com. And then we have a free access option that you can join us and, get access to all of our meetings. The Gaia Seekers community, if you guys are, you're not a practitioner and you kind of like don't really understand what we're talking about today, which I think most of you guys are pretty advanced. So that's more for people that want to kind of like learn the basics, the Gaia Seekers community. So for you guys, please, join us in the join.gaiahealers.com so you can get into our healer practitioner network.
Oh, here, I think I wrote it wrong. Hold on. GaiaHealers.com.
Is it Gaia Healers or Gaia Seekers?
It's, hold on.
Let me put in the link here. Yeah, join.gaia. I think, you spelled that one. Let me put it in here.
There. I put freedom in because you said the word freedom or something. Oh, I was stuck in it. Ignore the first one.
So that's the join.gaiahealers.com where you guys can go there and kind of like learn a little bit about our community. And then while you're joining, you get to access to all of our meetings that we have. And then this one is the second one I put in, that's our Gaia Seekers. So then that's for, if you're a practitioner, then you can invite your clients or people that don't really understand what you're doing. You can invite them into Gaia Seekers. We'll educate them for you. And then we invite them to come and like get sessions with you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? You must. Come on, people. All right. Well, I'm going to ask a question. If people have a chronic situation with what you're offering through Gaia Healers, and I mean, if they have a chronic, let's talk about Kathy, because she already brought it up. She had the chronic heart issue. What would be the next step for somebody if they came into Gaia Healers or they made contact with a practitioner? Well, how would that happen?
So based on my last 10 years of research, I have come to really have a very deep understanding of how to work with different people. Because, not everybody is in the same situation. Almost like healing, I always say, is very personal. Like we can't use the same formulation for two different people because everybody has such different experiences and different perceptions on the reality. So my research has always been to understand our different fields. We talk about the biofield, we talk about bioenergy, and then we talk about our physical bodies. So after traveling a lot and attending a lot of these conferences, I realized that we really don't have a physical body. That, the reason that we see each other as solid beings is just because of the limitation of our vision.
Right.
But in reality, we're trillions of cells that are vibrating in different frequencies. And in every second, there's over 1 billion interactions that's happening within our system. So from all of these commotion, all these communication and conversations that internally is happening and all these cells, creating all of this movement, then it's giving birth to this electromagnetic field around us. So then I always kind of like explain it in simple ways that if you look at an onion, the onion is almost like our, if you look at the core of the onion, that's our physical body or our more dense vibratory body. And then from the layers that's inside of the onion, that's our bioenergy. And then the outside of the onion, that's the biofield. So that has been my understanding of our energetic system now. And then I have different tools that I can measure. If somebody comes to me, I usually want to measure their biofield first to understand if the outside of the onion is healthy. And that's usually when we see 80 to 90% of the people that we work with, we see that there's a lot of issues in the field. There's a lot of overactivation or blockages of energy that they don't give birth to an immediate physical symptom, But once they stay in the field, then kind of just like an onion that at first the outside goes bad, and then it starts to seep in and really rot in the inside layers until it gets to the core. So then if you can understand somebody's issue right at the right time, that's only on this outside layer of the onion or the biofield, then we can do a lot of different natural holistic ways. It could be maybe just a conversation that we had today, that somebody maybe just based on the conversation that we had just got an aha moment that I need to bring love to my life. Like that's what I'm missing, and just by having that perception shift, that's healing by itself that we can do on the most exterior field of our system. But the issue is a lot of people, they don't deal with that. They kind of like to hold it in and kind of like throw all these like emotions. We don't want to deal with them, right? So then when we're not dealing with these emotions and we're just kind of like throwing them back and put them in our subconscious mind, then what happens is that they don't go away. And they're just like triggering on the subconscious, just like a little drop of water that keeps on, falling into a lake or something. So then this leads into, coming like the biofield getting shattered, and then it's starting to influence the bioenergy. So then I can measure people to see, we have a technology called BioWell that we can measure the outside layer of the biofield. And I'm a distributor for these companies. So if anybody's interested, I can definitely help them with that. And then we have the layers on the inside. That's the German technology called the biopulsar that we started to work with that. So I can measure their bioenergy. And then I can understand if, it's only on the outer field, then sound therapy, biofluid tuning, like Reiki, all those type of things can really help on that outer layer. And it can, really stop the person from kind of like seeping into the inner layers. But if I don't catch them in the right time and they're like, they're coming to me after they have issues, then most likely I need to see how far has it gone inside of the bioenergy. And then if it's in the bioenergy, then we have, again, tools that using like electromagnetic vibrations or electromagnetic pulses or microcurrents. Then in natural ways, we can help them to open up these blockages energetically to kind of like help them recover from the inside of the onion to the outside, instead of waiting until they actually get symptoms. Because then once they have symptoms, that's when like the core of the onion is starting to get affected. And, I had to do a lot of research into understanding, okay, if, for example, if somebody has an issue on the biofield, how long does it take for us to be able to correct that? If it's in the bioenergy, then how long is it going to take? And then if it's in the physiology, then how long is it going to take to go throughout all of these layers? So then what we realize is that once our biofield and bioenergy starts to get disrupted, then what happens is that it directly influences our autonomic nervous system before our bodies start to have these physical symptoms. We call it the medically unexplained symptoms, that when you go to a doctor, they can't really give you a prescription because you just can't sleep at night, or maybe you don't have energy during the day, or you can't focus, or your head is cloudy. Like, these are what we call medically unexplained symptoms. That's right before the physical body starts to get affected.
Got it.
So then we have tools that by measuring the autonomic nervous system, we can tell exactly like how long has this issue, the rumination, or which leads into low-level chronic inflammation in the body. We can measure using these Italian technologies called biotechna. And with those technologies, we can actually correct and reset the autonomic nervous system using respiratory biofeedback. So by measuring the way that people are breathing, we can tell exactly if they're burning their muscle, if they're burning their bone, or if they're burning the different organs in their body.
Wow.
And then by scientifically researching that, we can assign them different types of breath work that just by controlling their inhale and exhale, they can lose weight, they can activate their parasympathetic mode, and they can recover from dysautonomia. So that's like the biggest misunderstanding that we have right now in the States, that we're looking at, for example, if you look at a fish tank, if you have a lot of fish in a fish tank and the water gets dirty, then what happens? The fish will start to get sick. But now, does logic tell us to take the fish out, fix them, and then put them back in that dirty water? Or do we go and change the water? So logic tells me to change the water. So now that's what we're doing. Our medical system right now is working, fixing them, putting it back into that same dirty water. Our bodies are about 75 to 80% water. Our brain is about 90% water. So with every single thought, every single emotion, every single interaction that's not resonating with our higher self, then we are creating this negative resonance in that liquid body, and that water starts to get dirty.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of experiments that, if people have doubts on this, you can go and search YouTube for a rice water experiment. This was a work of Dr. Emoto from Japan.
Yep.
That he did a lot of research on the intention and water.
Yep.
That they took 3 cups of cooked rice, they add water to it, and for a month, they went and talked to the first cup and they said, "I love you, I thank you," and put it down. They grabbed the second one and they said, "I hate you, you're stupid," put it down. And then they completely ignored the third cup. So after a month of doing this, the first cup that they gave love to, they could actually put a spoon in there and eat that rice. The second cup that they said the negative words to, it turned into this all the ugly mold and like all these negative entities. And then the third cup that was ignored was the worst. That it was had this foul odor and like really disgusting. So then if our bodies are 90% water, if our brain is 90% water, our bodies are over 75% water, then just imagine the conversations that we have with our friends, the environments that we put ourselves into, and everything that goes through our sensory organ will directly influence that the structure of that water.
Yeah.
So then, by using different ways that we can help people and understanding exactly where they are, then we can meet them exactly where they need to be, met and how they need to be dealt with. If the physical symptoms has gone really damaged, then, we have the medical system today that, we've saved billions of lives, and that's for emergencies. So then, there's nothing wrong with that. But we can't heal everybody just with, holistic ways. There's a variation of where people are. And if people let go of themselves and they don't do anything to want to improve their system, and their physical system gets damaged, then, they have to deal with, the drugs and chemicals and today's medicine. But before we get there, that's the conversation of let's be preventative. Let's start taking care of ourselves every day. Let's pay attention to our thoughts or emotions and really live a high vibration life that can influence ourselves, our families, our communities. And that's a true blessing in life.
Yeah. Wow. That is just awesome. Just awesome. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're spreading this to the world and training other people. And do the other Gaia healers have these same machines and techniques?
So we have a lot of, like when I started working with Biofields, that's when I really started growing my company. And then as the years go, I'm doing a lot of research and I'm getting access to these other technologies. So like for Biopulsar, I don't have that many practitioners. So I'm really looking forward to getting more people that can work with me on that technology to measure the bioenergy. We have a lot of people that just work on emotions and thoughts. And, that's great, but we need more help. We need more people that have these different technologies so that we can send people to. And, I have created a full business model because of my, business background and being a software engineer. I have created software that can analyze all this information and can automate the whole process. So it is really not a learning curve for people to want to go through. Like before, they would have to go become a doctor of the biofield. But now with the click of a button and just understanding how to do a scan, I'll do all the work for them. And they have a lot of support to our community, to our doctors. So then we've made it super simple. We're just looking for beautiful souls that are ready to take on this mission and to bring these gifts into humanity.
Wow. Absolutely fantastic. If I'd met you 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago, I would have been first in line.
It's never late. Don't put an age on yourself.
But I came up doing neurofeedback, and I was hands-on healing, sound healing. I'm a practitioner of those things. I'm a death doula, and so I've been in the field for a very long time in my own little way, but so fascinated with all the different approaches, and yours is just totally exciting to me. Wow.
And there's a lot of things that, we talk about sound healing, and, nowadays we have a lot of sound healers. Like people take the course for $97 and they become a sound healer.
Yeah.
While based on the research that we do, because we can actually measure, like I go and I, spend time with high-level sound healers, high-level meditators, and we measure the groups of people to really understand what is the right way of doing this? Because these are ancient science that it's been with us
Yes.
forever, and we're
Yes.
just remembering them. But I feel like right now we're kind of like at the beginning ages of remembering. So there's a lot of misinformation out there about especially sound healing or breath work.
Yes.
Because the research that I do, when we just go based on our intuition and we play different like singing bowls and things like that, then sometimes we're actually doing a disservice to people, because if they have an energy center that's balanced and we overactivate that center, then we throw them out of balance. And we did that research with groups of people, and we measured the group scientifically, and we realized exactly what are the common energy centers that are misbalanced. And then we would have these sound healers to only work on those frequencies, especially in groups. That there is a lot of misinformation of this about when people get a bunch of people in a room and it started playing the same frequency for everybody. Then we see that, that really throws people that are balanced out of balance, and they can only have maybe a 65% improvement.
Interesting.
But once you do it scientifically, then we get over 95% improvements, and everybody has a great experience.
That's fascinating.
So that's my mission, to really like bring science into these works that we're doing. Again, like breath work. Like you see a bunch of people sit together and they do breath work. But if somebody has low level chronic inflammation in their body and they go on, they don't know how to actually activate the inhale and the exhale, then they're actually doing a disservice and like burning their bodies while they're doing different types of breath work. So all of these are very, very like
Yes.
powerful,
Yes.
almost like medications for our energy body that we need to be educated on,
Yes.
and doing it in a very respectful way so that we can actually, get the masses to have respect for the work that we're doing.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And sound healing in particular, think about the demonstration you had of putting the intention into the water. It's the same thing with sound healing. The intention of the person who's playing, whether it's a flute or drum, a sound bowl, whatever it is, it's all about, because this is going to resonate into the frequency of the instrument. So how we are, what state we're in, that's why it's sacred. That's why it works.
It is sacred. These are sacred sciences that we need to take it seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to get yourself into the right state. Well, let me ask you, Mr. Scientist, what do you think about dowsing? Do you see it as a science?
Of course. Yeah, there's a lot of research. We did, like the U.S. Army was, they used dowsing to find water in deserts. I mean, that's something that's very proven.
Yeah.
That's nothing that's, I'm a woo-woo breaker, That's why they invite me to a lot of events. And like I've been sent from Gaia to Egypt to do research on the pyramids. So I do really high level research, and like I've worked with Lynn McTaggart, with Bruce Lipton.
Oh.
So like, yeah, I'm pretty much on the top of our, the science of biology. And
I want to travel with you because that is my jam. I love it so much. And I've been dowsing now for over 30 years, and I help people mostly with questions that they have in their lives and helping them to, take the next step. And we ask on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level, so I can parse those things out. But with the dowsing, we can also measure the biofield, and we can do some of the work that the machines are doing. I'm not going to say all of it, but
what is dowsing? I mean, dowsing is having a conversation with our higher self. I mean, what can be more powerful than that technology? That's why messages, like, we are the ultimate technology, but it doesn't hurt to use technology to learn how to operate this powerful technology,
exactly.
Like, me, myself, like after doing 10,000 scans and like really being in this field for such a long time, I don't really need to scan anybody. I can just look at somebody, and by looking at them, I know exactly what's going on in their system.
Yeah.
So this is, based on the work that I've done, and based on looking at all the before and afters, I've really scientifically looking at this system, and now it's given me that gift to be able to be super powerful and have the very high level coaching sessions with people. But everybody has that chance. Everybody can get there. But that's why I've done all this work to create education, training, so that we can actually, we don't need to recreate the wheel. We just need to kind of get together and doing the work together.
And everybody can do this. I mean, you can obviously need training, but we've all got it.
It's within every single one of us. I mean, that's our God-given right.
That's right.
We are healers by nature.
That's right. That's right. Oh, well, this has been one of the most fun conversations.
Yeah.
And you've got to write a book. Okay. I want your life story, because that's going to be an incredible film someday. You've heard it here, folks. It's going to happen.
Put it out there. You manifest it, and we'll put it to work.
It's a fascinating story. It's a beautiful story. It's a heart-lifting, heartwarming story. And you're so generous in sharing it with us. Oh man, this is gonna, I think this is gonna be one of those shows that's gonna go far and wide. Nima, I am coming to Florida in a few weeks, so I'm gonna
Fun. Yes.
bring you.
Absolutely. We'd love to chat.
All right.
And we actually have a conference that's coming up in Orlando, Florida in November 20th to 22nd.
Okay.
That, I'm bringing all of these doctors, all of these companies that I work with, and we're doing free scans for everybody, so they can go around and test all these different technologies and then see exactly how they're influencing them, so that they are aware, and they have the full knowledge of how to help themselves and how to go through the journey of healing.
Well, maybe I take groups around the world to powerful places. I've been doing that for about 15 years. I douse where I'm supposed to go. And maybe I'll bring a group down to your conference.
That would be awesome. I just put the link for you in the chat. It's workshop.gaiahealers.com. And I would love to travel with you. So I've been to all the sacred sites. I've been to Egypt, Machu Picchu. I've been to the Easter Islands. I've been to Machu
Easter Island. Oh my God, wasn't that amazing?
Stonehenge. I've been to pretty much every symbol, and I've measured the energy there. So I have a lot of data on all these different areas. And I'd love to.
Oh my gosh, you and I, we have to sit down. We compare notes. I am bringing a group to Italy and Greece in October.
Fun.
Douse that out, and it's all, it's going to be a very fascinating. And the guides come in and they tell us exactly what to do, where to go, when, etc. So I'll tell you more about that.
So I have a big connection with Egypt. I do Egypt tours, and I have very powerful connections there that they take us to areas that nobody else can go.
Oh, really?
And so maybe we can definitely work on that and take them to Egypt.
Okay. I think we have a future here. Fantastic.
It's a party. Let's enjoy it. That's what life is all about. Let's experience it.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for your attention.
Really, really was a pleasure speaking with you, and we've all learned so much. And I can't wait to, I'm going to watch this again, actually, get it, because I didn't want to take any notes, because I didn't want to take my eyes off you. But I'm going to replay this, and I just want to say to everybody, if you enjoyed this conversation, you know what to do. Click like, and hit his link will be in the notes, and look up these different things that Dr. Nima is offering, and share this incredible talk, because it's going to lift everybody up.
Yes. Much love.
From
my heart to yours.
I
look forward to seeing you guys in another meeting.
Yes. Bye bye.
Bring love to your life. Make sure every morning when you wake up, think about love first. And you'd be amazed how it's going to change your day. And just practice it. When you go to a grocery store or something, do the infinity that Hope was talking about. Think about that love and send that infinity, and you'd be amazed of the interactions that you get from people and how you can completely change somebody's day.
Yes.
Just by sending that vibration to them.
That's it.
All right, guys. Much love.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.